I would like to talk to you guys today about Dragon Quest Monsters. What is this one called again?
Ooh. Dragon Quest Monsters.
Is it the new one?
Yeah.
The Dark Prince
The
arises.
Purple Rain.
The Dark Prince
Dark Knight rises.
cometh.
Yeah, the dark
Fallen.
the Dark Knight. Do you know how I got these these scars?
Yeah.
Erdrick.
This is the
I have a story.
My father was a Dark Prince.
this game released on December 1st, 2023. It's the Dragon Quest Monsters we deserve, but not the one that we need right now.
Hardly.
It's you go into it thinking you're gonna play like a Pokemon type spinoff, but the game is entirely auto battle. It doesn't let you control them, so it's actually a lot more akin to like a management simulator. Which I haven't played a Monsters game in a while, so maybe they've all been like that. I just didn't think of it that way. Anyone can correct me.
First one was.
Okay, there you go. So like
Game Boy Color one, yeah.
I don't know. I just, and that's okay. Once you get over that mental hump of it's more of a like a management simulator. You kind of you get back into a groove. It's about Dragon Quest IV. You're playing as Sorrow the Manslayer, and you're looking at his story from beginning to end, how he became the villain of 4. Interesting idea. A lot of the other Dragon Quests are, the spin-offs are related to a certain numbered game in the series, so I can appreciate that. Boy, is this game ugly. Like, the fact that this game is $60 is kind of a slap in the face, and in no way would I ever bought it if it weren't a Dragon Quest property, which clearly they knew, so they got me there. I did not buy treasures, I'll say that much, but watching it is like watching definitely a budget title. This game should have been $40, and I probably at that point would have gotten it on sale. But it is what it is. If you're gonna play it, expect just to look pretty shitty, low res, which really kind of hurts me because they literally like 5 years ago released Dragon Quest 11S on the Switch. So they have a game and an engine that works beautifully and looks great, and they chose not to use it and make a new engine that's like significantly uglier and like remake the enemies, because they had a whole bunch of enemies they could have just plopped from that game and put into this one, but they didn't. They chose to make a downgraded version in just about every way. So kind of a slap in the face, this game. There's a lot of story presented to you up front, but it does become more of the gameplay pretty quickly. I'd say there's about like an hour worth where you're just learning about the world and the story, and it's a little bit more than I'd like, but it gets to the action pretty quickly after that, so I'm not too concerned with that. The game, once you get started, is more about collecting the monsters, combining them into new monsters that carry over traits, kind of like an SMT, but you don't get to control anybody. Not nearly as deep either. But if you like the monsters from Dragon Quest, which I do, you can find appreciation in it. There's a lot of monsters, but a lot of reskins as well. I do not recommend. I wouldn't play it unless you're a diehard Dragon Quest fan. Then there's a lot to like here, but it's hidden under some really like low quality production. I think that's really the big problem I have with it, is just the production is just so low that it's really hard to excuse it in this day and age. So, Dragon Quest Monsters.
That's disappointing. I was looking at, because I don't know anything about Dragon Quest. You could tell me this game's amazing. I wouldn't know. But I was looking on Wikipedia to see who the developer was, and I don't know how you say it. It's Toze Software. I don't know how you say it, but they've done a lot of stuff, and they did World of Final Fantasy. which is like a good monster tamer.
It's
game.
all right. It's all right.
No, okay. It was good at a time where Final Fantasy was about hot guys in a car.
That's true.
World of Final Fantasy, yeah. World of Final Fantasy was a bright spot. I was like, yeah, this game's awesome.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think that's the difference is that Dragon Quest XI was so beloved. And so if you compare it to Dragon Quest XI, you will be disappointed largely. The thing is, I'm not as nostalgic for 11 as I am for the original Dragon Warrior monsters. That is a childhood game of mine, and it's damn near perfect to my eyes. Primarily because it is gameplay only. It just gets you right in it, and then it's just you go in different warp tunnels and you go to different worlds, which it sounds like this game becomes.
Right.
I played the demo and it turned me off completely. I just thought the game had a complete identity crisis. What the hell? You're playing as Sorrow, and then there's some lore here, which is a cool concept. But it's also like a monsters game. It's and it makes sense that Sorrow is a monster tamer. I really like this idea of like, making it its own story, but when you're doing it as like, a low budget spin-off, you can never really give it the full attention it deserves. And I think that's unfortunate. I think they should have just picked one or the other and then rolled with it. And I don't know. That's what's confusing to me. The demo actually turned me off completely. I put this on my Christmas list early, and then I took it off, and I ended up getting it for Christmas anyway. And so eventually I would like to play it, but the excitement has died down from what I originally saw. It is a little derpy. It doesn't make sense to play a Sorrow and have him be a silent protagonist. I don't know.
I've never had a problem with the silent protagonist, and I can see why it would be a struggle here because he is obviously not a silent character in Dragon Quest IV, but I'm kind of indifferent to that with this. But one of the things that really frustrated me, and Teddy can probably appreciate this more, is that I thought that if they were going to do 4, it was going to be like a lot of locations from 4 and navigating that world now in 3D. It's absolutely nothing like that. It's like
no.
There's like 2 locations, and it doesn't even. It's like the I can't remember his hometown, but the elf area with the elf.
Rose's Tower or something.
Rose Hill. I think it's Rose Hill, right?
Yeah.
And then like the arena from Endor. Like those are 2 locations that you do not travel between.
Battle of Endor.
Yeah, the Battle of Endor with the Ewoks.
Probably was Star Wars inspired.
Probably. But that's it. When you're actually like in the tower, because that's how what the mechanism you use to travel to different worlds, you're going to like Dark World and Candyland and like Ice World. Like there's no connection to Dragon Quest IV in it. And maybe it changes later. I honestly didn't beat it. I got probably a 3rd or 4th way through. I don't really know, but it is really disappointing that I didn't get to explore that world more, because Dragon Quest IV has a really cool world and a lot of really interesting things that they could have done with this kind of game, and it's just completely wasted.
And story. That's what I think. It's like there was some potential there, to say about how it was the humans and how they turned it on Sorrow. Great idea. But why hand it over to this like half-assed production?
Yeah.
But I do have a thought just about what does this mean for Dragon Quest going forward? Because to me, it almost seems like maybe this is some kind of stepping stone to something greater. Maybe there is some return or revival of some of the classics in some way. I don't know.
Hopefully not like this though, because once again, it was developed by Toze, and most of the game, like they usually co-develop stuff. Most of the stuff they put out by themselves though is usually filler garbage that like companies just kind of pay them to, like, oh hey, will you make this thing? So hopefully that's not that direction for the series, right?
It's funny you talk about that, because Square Enix, they just had a huge like interview with the president of Square Enix, and he was talking about things like that, and because he was more talking about the Dragon Quest Die failure, just acknowledging that it was pretty much a disaster, and he mentioned that they're going to focus on less games, higher quality. is what you
Good.
said. So
Okay.
clearly, I think he's referencing this and other, like, they released a ton of games last year. If you remember, like the
Treasures.
triangle strategy, treasures.
Which Jose also worked on. They're like co-developed Treasures too.
I could see that.
I was looking at their
Month's
stuff
coming
they've
next
done
month.
recently.
Dealfield Chronicles, like the farming one, like all those just kind of released like one on top of the other.
Oh shit! What was the farming one called? My
Various. Well, there was various day life.
Various day life, and then there was like the
Harvestella.
Harvestella, that's what it was.
Yeah, like all these just released and like didn't sell, like because they released them like on top of each other. They were budget titles, and nobody like
really trying to milk.
Oh
that.
yeah,
nobody cared.
Like, various day life was like during a direct. They're like, oh yeah, it's like out today, and like everyone's like.
Huh?
Cool. Like that's not a cool shadow drop. That's like a shadow drop. Like motion. Like that game needed promotion. You know,
right.
Shadow drop is for like games that actually fucking matter. You know, it's like whoa, I gotta get on that. You know,
I feel like
nobody's like
like
holy shit, various day life.
Yeah, that's where you the shadow drops where you're like Final Fantasy VII Remake. The demo is available right now. Then you're like, holy shit! You don't do it for some game you've never heard of.
Well, like Nintendo's good at that. They're like, when Pikmin 4 has come out, they're like Pikmin 1 and 2 on the eShop right now. We were like,
right now, yeah.
What? Yeah, but like, various day life, like nobody knows what it is.
Right.
Yeah. So hopefully, to Teddy's point, they'll not do this anymore and make it good.
Yeah.
It's sad too because like if there was, which again I've tried a few Dragon Quest games, but if there was like an entry point I can see myself caring about getting into, it would be here with like a Monster Tamer because like that shit's like crack to me. But now I'm not gonna play it.
But it's interesting too because this Monsters series has always had some history in the mainline series. The original is in between 5 and 6 with Terry, and then they had a remake of that as well. Joker is the only spin-off series where I think they really didn't have any connection, and that probably worked for its benefit. If anything, they should just bring back Joker series for Monsters. But I am curious to see, like, it was interesting to see that they did something with the 4 story because I feel like I never really see that. Heroes also does some interesting stuff with the timelines, but that's more of like just like a celebration, kind of like Hyrule Warriors-esque. Right. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm kind of sad though that Spencer that they're gonna stop doing these crappy games because I would have loved a shadow drop for Rocket Slime, My Slimy Ass or something.
Oh my god, I would play the shit out of that. Rocket Slime was so good.
Unironically, yeah, Slimy Ass. Let's go. See, that's funny. That's a good game. Like this, then it's funny with the puns and stuff too.
I loved that game.
So good.
You hear to hear, folks. Don't
Thank you for
Dragon Quest Monsters
wrecking this game's. Deserved it. I don't. As a fan of the series, I can't defend half-ass production. I gotta call it out when I see it too.
I'm proud because I think the best Monster Tamer on Switch is still Monster Hunter Stories 2. That's hell yeah.
You liked it?
Yeah, that game and that game got pretty good reviews too. I was like, holy shit, like cool.
I've seen that shit on sale. I liked the first Monster Hunter Stories.
The second one seems more substantial.
Okay, good. I was gonna say because it's like I liked it enough, but it wasn't. It didn't seem like there was enough there. But if 2's even, I might pick that shit up.
Yeah, I'm like,
let's go.
That's a good game.
Nice. Monster Month.
There you go. All right, Teddy, what do you got?
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.